welcome back to another Insider. We start the month of May, and we start this month of May with talking about something that I have been talking for a while, and I think it's important that we see the importance of things, and this is the freelancer versus entrepreneur discourse and opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion and tell you why, in my opinion, you should stay away from that freelance label. So come with me. So this has been something that it's regularly discussed among translators and interpreters and independent professionals in general. This is the idea of freelancer versus entrepreneur. Well, I have a very strong opinion about this based on my experience and what I have seen in regards to what happens with translators, mainly, obviously, because that's the industry that I work with, in regards to this issue. Well, overall, unfortunately, freelancers are highly devalued. A lot of people think that people that work as freelancers, they are first unqualified workers. They are just working for some extra buck, for a second source of income. So there's all these sorts of misconceptions about being a freelancer and about being an independent worker, so working for yourself in the services industry. It is unfortunate. It is something that definitely it's not true. We have all sorts of professions and all sorts of professionals working as freelancers or working in this module of work, and it is their main job. It is their job, and they run a business and they are working hard to feed themselves and the family. So it is highly, I would say, offensive sometimes, I think, the way that people refer to us. I won't name a few names that I've heard so far, because obviously it would be extremely unpleasant to hear, but it is a reality, unfortunately. It's something that we must live with, or we must change our mindset and change things. For example, platforms like Upwork and things like that, they don't help either, because you usually have a huge amount of professionals there trying to get clients, obviously, and the people that are there, they obviously want a professional work done for free. That's basically the mentality of platforms like that. They think that the person that is there, highly qualified, a professional, is there just for a quick buck. So they don't value the work that that person is doing. They even less they value the value that that person is going to add to their business or to whatever they want to achieve. So for them, it's the least amount of money possible. If the professional comes up with obviously a fair quote, they will say they won't accept it, and this is the situation. So I never went on that platform. I don't intend to go on that platform, because I think that platform, quite frankly, it's has absolutely no value for a professional, has absolutely no value for a translator that really is serious about their business and about their job. I think it's really bad. And in this context as well, even prose that is one of the most popular platforms with translators and interpreters, I must say that the same thing happens. And sometimes, I've said this before, sometimes this is also partly the translators and interpreters are partly to blame. And this is because PROS has a facility where they have the average, for example, the average price point per language pair. And a lot of us just fill all the fields when we create the accounts. We put our pricing, our initial price, that if you even put your price, because unfortunately we know that pricing is the big elephant in the room of translation, and a lot of colleagues don't even bother putting the pricing, and then you leave it there, you forget about it, and you don't update it. What is this gonna cause is that little reference that PROS has there, it's not updated because it has all the values. What it does is it picks all the values of all the pricing that the translators, and I'm giving the example of translators, obviously would be the same for interpreters, that the translators have declared that it's their pricing, and then they do an average. So if you don't update your pricing, that average will always be low. But apart from this, which is obviously something to add up to the issue, is the fact that, again, it's another thing like that. Usually you'll find all those bottom feeder agencies in there, and you will find all these platforms, all these clients that basically are not the best ones, that will try to bring your price down for all sorts of reasons. So what I think needs to happen is something that I tell to my mentees every time, and I also say in my courses, is that you should stay away from that freelancer label. Not because it's a bad one, not because indeed freelancers don't work. No, that is not the case. That is in fact wrong, but because it is something that you cannot change. That perception that people have of that sort of thing, it's not going to change. So I think we need a change of mindset, and we need to see ourselves as entrepreneurs. First of all, because if you want to attract better clients, if you want to attract, for example, corporate clients, big companies, chances are that if you show yourself or you portray yourself as an entrepreneur, and if you run your business in a more professional way, that will lead to better clients. For me, one of the things that needs to be, it's, for example, having a website, having your own domain, and really treating yourself as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever you want to call it, because that is something that will lead to you to change the perception of people around you. If you just go and you constantly see yourself as a freelancer, chances are people will always come up to you and will always talk about things like Upwork, things like these platforms that don't do anything good for your business or for yourself, and in fact they just bring you down. I believe that you should always see yourself as an entrepreneur, and in terms of pricing and in terms of putting yourself in the market, value yourself, know your value, know that every single time that you translate a document for a client, you are adding a value to their company. You are adding value to that client. Know your value. Know that your work is very important, even if some people may tell you otherwise. I think it's very important that, first of all, If we believe in ourselves, if we believe in what we do, I think other people will end up seeing it as well. But if we second guess ourselves, if we just let ourselves go with this type of preposition, with this type of client, with this type of platform and mentality, of course, that will be detrimental to ourselves and to our careers. So today I decided, I'm looking at my notes, and today I decided to talk about this. I know I have written articles about this before, but today I decided to do an insider about it, because I think it's something that is very important, something that I think is essential, even and especially if you are starting your career. I think this is essential. This is pivotal for your success. Put yourself out there, see yourself as a business person, because you are. Because you are. Freelancers are business people. The problem is people don't see it that way. I don't think. And that is what causes all these issues. We have, obviously, for example, in Australia, we have Ozit, we have Nati, that are always advocating for our services and for our sector. And that's a good thing. And that's something good. We have it in Australia, but not all countries have this type of arrangement. Not all countries have a good association like Ozit. Not all countries have an authority that does a great job like what Nati is doing in Australia. So it's something that unfortunately our industry is still highly deregulated, and a lot of things that come with this deregulation is because there is not that seen as professionals. For example, in Australia, due to NATI certification and OSIT membership, we are seen a little bit differently than sometimes our peers in other countries, where there is no strong association, there is no strong representation like we do have in Australia. And then this means that we need to do that ourselves. We need to work harder. We need to do that ourselves to show ourselves in the market and show our value, because that's what we do. Today, translation, it is an essential service. Companies do not work only in their corner of the world. They don't work just from their little neighborhood or their little city or even the country. Companies work globally. Everyone does business abroad. Either you have suppliers abroad or you have clients abroad. People don't stay in one country anymore. Nothing is just national anymore. Everything is global. And this brings the need to have good communication, because, of course, if you don't have adequate communication with whoever you are talking to out of your country, of course, that business, it's never going to work, because you need fluent and proper communication. And when we talk, for example, of applying for licenses, for example, if you want to work with some countries, you might need some licensing to be able to open a business there and to be able to work and do your business there. Sometimes you might require some licensing, you might require some permits. And of course, you need to contact the authorities in those countries. And if you don't do that communication efficiently and fluently, of course, it's not going to work. You're going to go around in circles because documentation is not going to be done properly, etc., etc. And this is why the work of a translator is so important. If you don't have one, and if you don't have a qualified one, you may still get into troubled waters. That is why it's important for us to understand this, because I think it starts with us. first of all, I think it starts with us as translators. It starts with us seeing ourselves as someone very important, seeing our services as very, very important, as essential services for any business today, not just, for example, airline businesses or tourism businesses or things like that, or multinationals, because quite frankly, these days, every business have some sort of contact with a foreign country. If you sell products, chances are you are importing those products from somewhere else. If you have services, maybe you have clients outside your country as well. So it is important that we see ourselves as entrepreneurs, because we are. It is important that we step away from that label that unfortunately only brings us down. So it's important that we step away from there, that we step up and raise the bar when it comes to translation services and to translation and translators. We need to show the clients the value that we are, the value that we add to their businesses, and therefore, if you want a good quality service, of course that comes with a premium price. And of course, if you are hiring another company, you will have that service provided by that company. I think that is very important, that you have, first of all, the customer service is something that I really think is pivotal for everyone. After the customer service, I think another thing that is very, very important is that conduct, that ethics, the way that you talk to your clients, always being professional, having your own domain, having a website, being transparent. So these steps or sets a bar really high in terms of quality, in terms of transparency, in terms of professionalism, and of course the good clients, the best clients, possibly the corporate clients that you would want to have, will see that and will contact you, and you will use your services. That is why I say that we should stay away from that label, because unfortunately it's one that has been used not to just qualify us as a class of professionals, but to degrade and to diminish our quality and diminish the way that we are seen in the market. So we need to step away from there. We need to really show everyone that label, or what people associate with that label, first of all, is not true at all, and secondly, that it couldn't be further from the services that we provide. So having all of that in place, having a website, I know it is an investment, and some colleagues might say it is an investment, it is expensive, it's a cost. Yes, but there's always a saying, you don't make money if you don't spend money. So you really need, in my view, you really need to have that website going, have that domain going, professional email, something like that. And then, of course, always having your information updated everywhere throughout. First should be your website, and then social media pages, etc., etc., etc. So today I decided to talk about this because I think it is something that some colleagues may sometimes forget or procrastinate a bit about, and I think it's time for us to stop procrastinating, stop putting it off, and start looking at things in a different way, start looking in a different direction, and see things in a way that is positive for us, is positive for our industry, and it's positive for our clients, because I think all of this will end up being positive for everyone, including our clients that actually see the value of our work and the value that we actually provide them with. And I think this is a very, very good thing. I decided to talk about this today. I hope you liked it. So for today, I hope you liked this insider, this first insider of May. And I really hope I could show you how important it is, the perception that we have of ourselves, in order to our clients also see that. I think sometimes we are our worst enemies, because we tend to sometimes even devalue ourselves, and sometimes just go along with all these platforms and these agencies and bottom feeders, etc. Again, I stress, not all agencies are like that. There is agencies that really see the value of the product and want to provide a good product for their clients, and therefore they are interested in having professional translators in their databases. They do not seek this type of arrangement. Some agencies, unfortunately, I would say not the majority, but there is good agencies out there. I wouldn't say that all of them are the same. And again, it's a question of our own perception. If you or if all of us decide, no, I'm not going to go that path, I'm going to do something different, I'm going to value myself, I'm not going to accept something like that, I'm not going to work under such conditions, then we will eventually move some change to happen. Because if no one accepts it, if no one is happy to do it, they won't have a business model. So think about it. It will start with us. It will start with, first of all, us seeing the value we have and seeing ourselves as business people, and that per se will change heaps. Will change, first of all, will change our mindset, will change our own perception of things. So I think this is very important. That's why I brought this today. But I would like to hear from you. What do you think? What have you been doing? Have you just started your career? Have you been in the business for a while? Do you have a website? Do you have your own domain? Do you work with one of those free email accounts? Let me know. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. I would like to love to hear your opinion about this, because I think it is important that we discuss these things, that we talk freely about these things, because only from exchange of ideas we create awareness, and of course we live to change. So if we keep quiet, if we keep to ourselves, and we are scared to talk about things because they might be taboo, they might be the big elephant in the room or something like that, we will never move to get something changed. We will never have a better option out there. So I think it is important to talk about things. I, for one, believe that exchange of ideas is the best. I love a good discussion. I love to talk to people about things, even if it's a controversial topic. I don't mind. I accept that other people may have a different opinion from mine, and I might actually learn something with someone with a different opinion, the same way they might learn with mine. I think it is important to have discussions. That's why I created this channel. I really wanted to bring a lot of these topics. I'm sorry, I just choked on my own saliva. And I think bringing up this sort of topic, first of all, creates awareness and helps everyone to have some food for thought and think about things that may actually help us all get a better outcome for the industry in as a whole, for the industry in general. So if you have any opinion, please leave me a comment below. I'll be very, very happy to answer you and start this discussion, because I think it is a very good one. Or if you have a suggestion of any other topic that you would like me to address on my insiders, please do the same. Leave a comment below. You know, put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. You know, I've been saying this a lot. If you can, just put a like, just comment, share the video, because this helps the algorithm to pick up my content and show it to more people. It's totally free, but if you don't do that, although I have more viewers, and I thank you dearly for that, it may not help the best way for the channel to grow. So if you just put a like and you subscribe the channel, leave a comment, it will help my channel grow. It will help more people to have access to my videos. And of course, you get a notification of a new insider every week. And then it's up to you if you want to watch it or not. So before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next week. Bye. Have a good one.